There's something that's been bugging me recently, and that is not knowing which of the 9 D&D alignments I be. So today I'm going to take this more alignment test. It's 24 questions, and at the end it will tell me which alignment I am. I often help others without expecting anything in return. I'm gonna give an honest answer on this one. I completely agree, because if a person needs help, all they have to do is ask, and I don't need a daggone thing in return. I usually can't be bothered to help those in need. That's kind of an interesting follow-up question. I'm gonna go with a hardcore disagree, because hey, if a person needs help, they need help. I am not as upset as others when someone dies. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one. Honestly, with the question like this, it really depends on the context and the person, so I'm going to be 100% neutral on this one. I often forgive those who have wronged me, even if they do not deserve it. I'm not necessarily the forgive and forget type, but if a person shows change and they are genuinely turning over a new leaf, I can move on if they can move on. So I'm gonna stay a little bit on the neutral side on this one. I am often worried that my actions are deserving of criticism. Personally, I believe that nobody is above criticism, not even me. You can criticize me for being an armor-wearing four-tusk orc that doesn't scream wah at the top of his lungs when he goes into battle. So I'm going to go with a neutral on that one. I use tricky plans and schemes to get my way. No. I really don't need to rely on schemes to get my way. If I get my way, I get my way. If I don't, I don't. So I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree on that one. I'm intent on kindness and cooperation. 100% yes, I 100% agree with that, because, well, what you see is what you get. I feel justified in doing whatever I can to succeed. I don't want to do any sort of sneaky, underhanded, and undeserved tactics to do whatever I need to get my goal. So I'm going to go completely disagree with that one. I do not feel guilty when I hurt or offend somebody. Really depends on the situation and context. Depending on that, I'm going to be a sorry, not sorry sort of guy. I'm going to be 100% neutral on this question. I wouldn't be tempted to use counterfeit money, not even if I were sure I could get away with it. I know it's a hypothetical question, but how would I even get counterfeit money? I earn my money legally and rightfully, for that matter. I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree on that one. Helping others by doing good deeds is its own reward. Like we talked about earlier, if a person needs help, just ask. I got you. I keep track of sensitive information that can be used to hurt people at a later date. If you trust me with sensitive information, I take that with the utmost respect, and I appreciate that you care and you respect me and think of me so much that you would share something that sensitive with me. So I'm not going to take that for granted. Going to go with a hardcore disagree on that one. I only obey the laws and rules that seem sensible to me. Now, can I admit that I've kind of jaywalked a few times in my life? Yes, but I also do believe that I don't want to mess around and find out, because I could be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So you know what? I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree on that one. I do what I want, and I do not feel particularly obliged to anybody. I mean, I do have obligations, you know, be it to family, loved ones, friends, etc. So I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree. Generally speaking, I'd rather buy myself a little something extra than donate to charity. The reason I'm a little bit hesitant on this one is because I'm under the belief of, I can't take care of myself, how am I going to be able to help others? Honestly, going to be neutral on this one. If I were trying very hard to sell something, I wouldn't lie to get my way. I feel like this question is definitely calling me out as somebody who has a background in sales. I've been in those situations where I've had to hard sell something important. And even during those scenarios, I would be honest and truthful. If I thought a person shouldn't buy it, I'm going to go with a hardcore agree. I frighten others to get what I want. I feel like this question is targeting me because I'm an orc. Just because I wear this armor, just because I am an orc, doesn't mean I go around intimidating people. Anyway, I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree on this one. When I see others acting carelessly, I think to myself, it is a matter of time before misfortune befalls them. There is the saying, what goes around comes around. You can only do stuff for so long before it catches up with you. That's my personal belief anyway. Karma always knows where you're at, so I'm going to go with neutral on this one. Actually, no. I'm going to go with a complete agree on this one. Cheating isn't justified because it's unfair to others. As a competitive auric, I strongly want to best my opponents on an even playing field. So I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree. Screw cheating. I trick and con people if it is in my interest to do so. Interesting to follow this up after the cheating question. I'm going to go with a hardcore disagree on this one because, as I said with the previous question, I'm going to answer honestly and truthfully. I have tender, concerned feelings for people who are less fortunate than I am. See, I do have a soft spot for those that are less fortunate, especially as somebody who has known and seen people who had far less than I do. I'm very empathetic for those sort of people, so I'm gonna go with a hardcore agree on that one. I often worry that I might behave inappropriately. I mean, I'm a virtual orc on the internet who streams and make videos. I think it's far too late for me to have that sort of concern. I won't be honest on that one. I'm gonna go with a disagree on that one. Others regard me as good-hearted and well-meaning. I feel like in some kind of way, I'm kind of stroking my ego here, but I'm just gonna go with the agree on this one. And the final question, I have an excessive need for stimulation and am prone to boredom. I mean, I keep my hands busy as an orc who tends to work on stuff day in and day out with very few rest days anyway, so I'm going to go with an agree on this one. Now we're getting ready to submit the quiz. I'm gonna close my eyes for this one. 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that. You are 76.7% good, 35% lawful, making you lawful good. People who are lawful good believe that an orderly, strong society with a moral government can work to make life better for the majority of the people. When the laws are fair and the people respect them and try to help one another, humanity as a whole prospers. Therefore, people who are lawful good strive for a societal order that will bring the greatest benefit to everyone and cause the least harm. Lawful good personalities may sometimes find themselves faced with the dilemma of whether to obey the law or do good when the two conflict. For example, when upholding the law of the land would lead to unfairness or harm, or when there is a conflict between the two orders of what is right, such as between the ways of their community and the law of the government. And now we know which alignment I am.